So this week, Sony had their PS5 reveal event where they showed off 26 games and the console itself. I'd ask if you saw it, Nick, but I only remembered it was happening because I saw your tweet about 15 minutes into it. So just showing just how amazing and committed and thorough I am in this job. So I went back to the beginning and watched from the start. So I'm just going to I've got my rough notes because I was taking notes throughout it. There are definitely games I think we're both going to want to talk about more, and other ones where we'll probably just be like, yes, that was a game. But as I know you've seen it too, just obviously feel free basically to stop me and be like, no, I've got something to say about this.
I will.
First off, let's just talk about how the 2020 holiday season console started its big old games reveal by showing off the game that came out in September 2013, which is GTA 5.
Yeah.
And my notes say, GTA 5 fucking lol. Ha 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 ha, GTA Online for free as an incentive for PS5, question mark?
Yeah. Weird.
Because it seemed like a really, I don't know, I guess with most things like this, you put something strong at the front end, something strong at the back end, and then if you had something like this, it'd be one of those things that's just in the middle.
Yeah.
It felt really strange to say this is like the first thing we want to talk about.
Yeah, it kind of preceded like the first sort of the bit where they said here are the new games kind of thing as well. So it was kind of like a like a prologue, which was weird.
But yeah, and if you buy GTA 5 now for PS4, you get £1 million every month.
Cool.
Not real money though. In-game money.
Yeah.
Anyway, then next was the first full new game, or not, or maybe, as the following few days would seem to discuss, with the sequel to Spider-Man, obviously the PS4 game. I think, whilst we didn't do it as a topic of a podcast, I think we have spoken it on here before.
Yeah.
I think probably during the awards of the year it came out. But this is Spider-Man Miles Morales, and it's got a very focused trailer on Miles.
Yep.
And this got a bit confused by the media in the following days, because first it was a sequel, then it was no, this is just a re-release of the first game but with more stuff. Then that was a executive talking out, speaking incorrectly. Now it turns out it is a standalone game, but it just, I think, reuses a lot of the assets and everything from Spider-Man. So I think that's probably the studio feeling almost. They don't want to call it a sequel because the implication of sequel is like it'll be bigger or have all this freshly made stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, what this makes me think of is more. Zelda Majora's Mask, which was a game for the N64, which basically, when Ocarina of Time came out, it was this massive hit, and Miyamoto, who I'm sure you've heard of, wanted to make another sequel in a year, but what he wanted to do was make basically what's now called Ocarina of Time Master Quest, which we re-released in the same game, but it remixed all the dungeons and just added a few new things here and there.
Right.
But Eiji Aonuma, who's was an assistant director at the time, and now he directs the Zelda series, basically said, no, I don't want to spend a year just doing the same game again. I think I can make a new game in a year. And so, as a result, in order to do that, they reused all the same assets, which I guess is a bit of the story I'm getting to. But they reused them in such a way that it made this new experience.
I think a simpler way of saying it is it's Hobbs and Shaw. It's a spin-off.
That's probably way simpler.
It's a spin-off.
Yeah, you're right, quite right. It is a spin-off, but I think I'd say more in like its production. And its design.
It's a spin-off that kind of uses like some of the base mechanics and the maps and stuff from the original.
Like, I've not seen Hobbs and Shaw, but I imagine it's not just reusing shots from old Fast and Furious movies.
I mean, it might be.
Just mirroring them or flipping.
Yeah, you just swap out the car. It's pretty much the same shit.
That's not even swap out the car, you just use the paint bucket tool to fill it in a different colour. Anyway, so speaking of cars, that was brilliant.
You're welcome.
Next was Gran Turismo 7. And I don't know, I've not played many driving games. I actually picked one up for PC that I've been meaning to get around and just do a bit of play on, because I'm not sure whether my opinion will have changed of driving games now I actually know how to drive in real life.
Hmm.
Um,
You feel the need for speed on public roads now.
well, it's more I'll play Gran Turismo and I'll be checking my wing mirrors, indicating.
I'm excited for this because the last Gran Turismo I properly played was Gran Turismo 6 for PS3, and the only one they did on PS4 was GT Sport, which I own, but I haven't actually played yet because it seemed like a sort of a spin-off variation from Gran Turismo. So I'm looking forward to a game that has a bit more functionality and a bit more of the because I didn't like the sort of the stuff I didn't really like was the continuous race series on what GT Sport was about, whereas the original Gran Turismo games, you had a bit more ability to do sort of coffee club races and stuff like that, and more options for cars and stuff. So this is a game I'm really looking forward to.
So actually, it's been quite a long time since the last Gran Turismo game, because when a game gets announced with a 7 at the end, I kind of assume that it's not been too long since the last one.
No, it's been a while, yeah.
Skipped basically an entire generation.
3, 4, 5 and 6 came out like pretty quickly to each other, but yeah.
There's a new Ratchet and Clank game announced called Rift Apart.
Yes.
That one, I think that what I will say about this whole presentation is it was much better than the Xbox One at showing actual gameplay.
Yeah.
And whilst obviously you have to take everything you see in these as a pinch of salt, because I think every interview I've ever read about the gameplay trailers and the demos and stuff like that from like developers afterwards is like, yeah, basically if you'd gone any further than that, it would have all fallen apart. Basically, these demos are usually held together with like sellotape and just made to look as good as they possibly can for this like 2 minutes.
I was very impressed. Like at this point in the press conference, I was pretty much like, yeah, 3 out of 3 is impressing me. Like some old titles. In fact, 3 out of 3 was old titles at this point. But I was quite impressed at how much they'd managed to sort of develop in relative secrecy as well. Because like the Spider-Man thing, for instance, I was like, what the hell? This didn't leak?
Yeah. I've got some news about a different company game leaking later in the news, but I'm very impressed that, just there's so many titles here that just hadn't been mentioned at all. So next was the first new IP. It was the Project Athia, which kind of looked like more of a kind of fantasy game. So it looked interesting. It looked very nice, but I was like, literally my only note was cool, dragons. And that was it. However, it was followed up by the trailer for Stray.
Yes.
Where it was kind of implied to be this post-apocalyptic... Well, you don't know what's happened to the humans. It's just implied that they're all basically dead.
Yeah.
And it's a robot society, but you play as a cat.
It looks great.
And to be honest, I'm just like, yeah, this is...
Sold.
Yeah. I think... And that's the kind of thing... That trailer as well gave me a bit more renewed hope that we're going to see some nice mix of different stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. By this point, I was like, oh wow, look, this isn't just like a load of old titles. This is some really cool, new, visually distinct IPs as well. Initially, I thought it was a Saga video game. The Image comics.
Oh right, yeah.
Because I saw the TV people, and I was like, oh. But nonetheless, it still looks really original, and playing as a stray cat is just like, okay, we're doing it.
Yeah. Well, there was a few years where I think more, obviously not Nintendo. Nintendo always does its own thing, for better or for worse. But definitely where Xbox and PS4 were trying to be like, oh, look at this, the most manly games, manly, like COD, guns. And what actually was good about this entire presentation was that Sony were like, here's a nice variety of stuff. And then we get... And also, for some reason, they split the trailers up with these weird, basically fill-in things, which were usually based around the 4 PlayStation buttons. However, this is the one where they actually went into the controller. And what I found quite funny about this was that they managed to sneak in... Well, actually, these were specs not just for the controller. They did have the first little pieces about the console as well. like it confirmed it was a Blu-ray, it would play Blu-ray,
Yeah.
and it was a solid state drive.
Well, 4K
It was-
Ultra HD Blu-ray as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I found it quite funny is how they snuck in some things. So it was like ray tracing, haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, USB port, motion sensors, built-in mic and speaker, 3mm jack, 3D audio.
I know the controller's been out for a while, but the speaker and microphone is genius because I really hate wearing that flimsy little headset. So, good job.
Yeah, and it's kind of controllers are already expensive, so it at least saves you having to buy like their specifically branded headset as well. Now the next one was about the person who crashed on the planet, and this one looked like a good trailer until they revealed the title of the game. Do you remember what the game was called?
Ah, something generic.
Returnal.
Returnal. Oh, that's it.
And I was a bit in like gobsmacked silence from that. I was like, this was such a good trailer, and then, and also I noted that it has a shot of the main character walking through like a field, brushing like the crops, just like Thanos in the Endgame trailer. Returnal, my
Returnal.
god. We're getting a new Littlebigplanet game, although it's just called Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
Yeah.
And I believe the Littlebigplanet games are usually 2D, as in like they've got 3D graphics, but they're kind of side scrollers.
Yeah. This is a proper
Whereas-
platformer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a proper 3D platformer, so that's quite interesting.
You know what? I
because
liked the look of this until they did like the blatantly gendered sack girl reveal.
Yeah,
I was like,
but I
do you
think
need
it's
this?
got. Yeah, I mean it's interesting that there's been a bit of a resurgence of the more 3D games and good ones with co-op. Because they can be fun. This reminds me very much of Super Mario 3D World, basically, where it looks like it's still quite linear, but you can kind of take a few people through it. And to be honest, I think the trailer did emphasize kind of female sack girl a bit too much.
Which is weird because just like I think they've got a nice design in the first place with Sackboy, because like you look at Sackboy and it's like a pretty much gender neutral looking character. You don't need to do the female spin-off.
And also the games themselves, I'm pretty sure, just feature a ton of skins for Sackboy anyway.
Right, yeah.
So it's kind of a very customizable thing.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been better just having I was going to say a slew, but even just like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And just showing those in different pair combinations, just going through the levels, be like, look, it doesn't, we don't care, there's going to be lots of options.
Sackboy has ruined their queer status icon.
But anyway, the game looks fun anyway, so we'll get more details of that, I'm sure. The next one looked like Fortnite, but with cars.
Oh yeah, this one didn't really stand out to me much.
No, so it looked very much trying to get in on the arena fighter.
I thought it was Fortnite crossed with Rocket League, just smushed together.
That's the thing. It felt almost very it felt very cynically targeted. It's like this is a popular thing. This is a popular thing.
Get back in your car. You're not going to outrun a car. Get back in the car.
It reminds me of the old Road Rash games where you could get knocked off your bike. And then the next game actually was looked very, very nice. This was Kino Bridge of Spirits.
Oh yeah, sort of a Zelda-esque.
It looked almost like a Pixar film.
Yeah, with a bit of sort of Zelda-esque kind of visuals and stuff going on.
And speaking of Zelda-esque kind of visuals, the music for the trailer was actually done not by somebody who's worked on the Zelda series, but it's by like a small, an up-and-coming composer. But what I recognised him from is that he's done a series of Zelda remix albums, which I actually have in my car because I like listening to them.
Oh, cool.
So actually, no, I was very pleased when I saw that pop up on Twitter afterwards. He was like, pleased to announce I composed this, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, it's like what you were saying earlier as well. I like how this entire presentation was not just like adults RPGs and stuff. It was just kind of a good mix of stuff kids can play, families can play. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, this especially this Kena Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah.
Looks like something that I could very much get into, but also has the kind of bright, vibrant colour styles where you could probably, like, a child could probably enjoy it as well. Like, it is really one of those all ages kind of things. And nothing I think encapsulates the fact that the PS5 will have a wide range of games, quite like the next trailer, which was Goodbye Volcano High.
Oh, it looks good.
I mean, it looks a little bit 2010 Newgrounds animation. But I was a bit... At that point, I was just a bit like, so this system is going to have something for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah. It's curious, like, from the style of the trailer, I'm wondering how that would actually play. I wonder if the gameplay would look 2D... Well, it's sort of vaguely 2D, isn't it? And anime inspired.
It did seem to be like a story trailer, didn't it? Which makes me think maybe it's a one of those novel games. So it will just be a lot of cutscenes, and you just make the decisions going through it.
Telltale-esque sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it looks good. I like the look of it.
Yeah. It was at this point, by the way, that I started to note that the transitions between the sections with the PlayStation buttons were quite strange.
Yeah.
I wrote it in my notes. Then I'm going to be honest. The next two games were Oddworld Soulstorm. Like, I've heard of Oddworld.
Oh, yeah.
It looked quite interesting, but it wasn't really much to say. Ghostwire Tokyo.
Spooky Ghosts in Tokyo, as I called it. Which I think would be a much better name.
To be honest, that is a better name than Ghostwire. And I guess the fact that it's Ghostwire Tokyo means that if it's a success, we'll get ghosts in every city.
Yeah. It looked good, though. The city looked great.
Yeah. Again, it's another one which looked very nice visually, but I actually have no idea what it was.
Some of these trailers, including this one, had a bit of footage of kind of like the developers and stuff talking about it, which I thought was quite interesting as well.
Yeah, no, I did appreciate the developers who came and just did their intros and like talked about their games.
Yeah.
And then the one after this, I thought you may have taken your interest just because obviously you just bought No Man's Sky.
I did?
And this one was this space apocalypse game.
Yes.
You know, where
which one was this? Jet?
I think so, yeah. The one where it was a really tiny ship on the screen.
Right.
Like, it looked like you're really, really zoomed out.
They fired out a load of sci-fis at once, which was quite confusing.
Yeah, no, I know. This is also where in my notes it starts to get a bit confused.
Yeah.
But I thought, yeah, it could be a similar style of game. This one looks like it's more spaceship focused. Because obviously No Man's Sky is about landing on the planet and going and looking around.
Yeah. As a sort of mini review, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed like I mean, it's a bit of tutorial for about quite a long time, about 40 minutes. But then when you get in the ship, it's like pretty incredible to be able to just pop over to different planets and stuff. It's more like a expose of tech rather than a fully fledged game still. But I got it cheap, so.
So even after all its updates, it's still a bit of a...
I mean, I'm probably still in the sort of tutorial stage of things.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not something you can pick up and just like have a blast with or something. It's you've got to go and get some oxygen to power your mining tool, and then you've got to power up your ship using hydrogen chloride, and it's just like, yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Very interesting tech demo, and I got it for the price of a tech demo, so there we go. Apologies to those people who spent 50 quid on it at launch.
Yeah. But if they've stuck with it, I guess they've got quite a few good updates through the years. So anyway, next was a really, really generic looking arena fighter called Godfall. The only thing that was worth saying about it was the fact that it's been developed by Gearbox.
Okay.
But aside from, like, it just looks a bit... Another one that looks like it's just chasing trends.
Can't remember what that was, but...
That's probably not by accident. It was a very generic trailer.
Yeah.
The next one, though, was a very dope-looking trailer for Solar Ash.
Oh, yeah, that was
one of those sci-fi ones. But this is the one where it showed that bit at the end where like they walked around and it was like
yes,
the path curved, but they stayed. Obviously, the gravity stayed on the ground.
Yeah, that looked really
like
cool.
Super Mario Galaxy.
Art style was beautiful in that one.
Yeah, no, I thought that one looked really nice. There was a trailer for Hitman 3 again,
which looked pretty good actually. Even though I've never really been into that series, it was a bold-looking trailer, literally a bold-looking trailer,
and it showed gameplay as well. Because that's the thing, it did a short trailer, then a developer thing, and then it actually did show some gameplay. Because at first I thought it was just going to be that really short trailer at the beginning. I was like, okay, why? Why though? And then it was a real big tone shift because it had that really cartoony one next with all the blue robots.
All the blue robots? Which one was that?
I'm surprised you didn't because I was watching and it goes. So it did like the Hitman trailer. Then it did a very quick flash up. I think what the PS5 menu is going to look like.
Oh right, yeah.
And then it was just blue robots and like really like upbeat music, and I was like, God, this is just going everywhere, isn't it?
I think maybe I nipped the loo for this one because I literally don't remember any blue robots.
See, I nipped the loo after the next trailer. So the next trailer was The Little Devil Inside, which was that weird art house looking one with all the people in rooms and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it made the poop joke.
Oh.
Then it looked alright, but I didn't really know what the game was even about.
A few of these I noticed were developed by Anna Purina, who's sort of known as a film production company, which I thought was quite interesting.
Well, it's yeah, I think that there's a lot more scope for that. I think nowadays as well, and it's just as important, I think, to get a good direction in a game trailer and in a game broadly. But obviously, a game trailer is something that someone from a film studio would obviously be able to put their expertise to.
Yeah.
Directing a game is very different because obviously you're saying how things should feel, how they should play.
I can't remember if there was one of them developed by them, but it was it had quite a quirky style to it. It kind of looked Wes Anderson in its kind of framing and
yes, yeah, no, I agree. So then it was NBA 2K21, which is when I went to the loo. When I came back, it was food as bugs.
This looked. I mean, there's been a lot.
This may have been one of. Not even lying. This may have been one of my favourite trailers from the whole thing.
Really?
Because it was just mad.
It was,
like,
but
I had no idea what I was even looking at.
There was a lot of sort of kids, inverted commas, kids games trailers in this presentation, but like I complained a bit that it looked very PS2, maybe even in its graphic capability, like the textures and everything were off. But
the thing is, when I say it's probably my favourite trailer, it's not for the right reasons.
No.
It didn't look particularly amazing. It seemed to be doing an idea that I think has been done before. Like, even if you go back to what Spore or whatever, Viva Pinata was another one that Rare made back in the day. It was just the fact that it was just so sincere and was just really going for it. And it even went so far as to end on like a cliffhanger with evil food coming out of the forest, as if to be like, "There's gonna be a story." And it's just sometimes confidence is key.
Yeah, it's bonkers. Is it Australian developed? Because I noticed like a lot of the characters have Australian accents. If so, I'll take back my criticisms about the graphics and stuff, because if it's some sort of very independent company, then fair play. But
I haven't looked up. I think there's quite a few indie games throughout this, actually.
Yeah. Or
games that were from an independent, or from a quite a small studio, but they were maybe getting published by a bigger name. Then Yoshida popped in to say that they're making Demon Souls. And then he popped out again. And then it was Shooter, which I was very surprised to see was a Bethesda game.
Is this Deathloop?
Oh wait, no, it's Deathloop, that was it.
Looks good.
Yeah, no, it looks very interesting. It's going to be something to see how the scope of it is.
Yeah.
Because this looks like the kind of game where I'd be alright if it's quite short.
Yes. Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like quite an interesting sort of gaming style, because it kind of you reset and do things differently, but they use that as part of the actual plot of the game, unlike other games where you obviously just respawn. But yeah, I really like the look of this. I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah, now this seems like the kind of thing where, based on that mechanic and kind of that story.
Mm.
I'd rather something that was quite concentrated.
Mm.
And like you sit down and maybe it takes you a few hours, but you're like, God, that was really satisfying.
Mm.
Rather than, oh, I'm on hour 30
Yeah.
of this. There's another casino I need to escape from, whatever. Then there's Resident Evil 8.
Village.
Village. Then Pragmata, which was the one with the space cop and the little girl, but the girl's a robot.
Oh,
and
yes.
the cat's a hologram.
Oh, yes. And everything's a hologram.
And there's a satellite falling through the hologram, and they're trying to stop it.
Uh-huh.
That was weird.
Yeah.
There was a Horizon Zero Dawn sequel announced.
Oh, yes. Horizon...
Forbidden Forest.
Forbidden Forest. That's it.
Vicky rates Horizon Zero Dawn very highly, so...
Cool.
And also, I like the fact that it started with cities overrun with greenery, because it reminded me of the nature is returning meme that everyone is doing at the moment. And to be honest, it's just an interesting visual style to that game. Like the first one as well. This one looks like it's getting more focus, because I think the first one is still pretty fantasy, whereas this is like, no, it's a post-apocalyptic Earth, and you're going to be travelling through cities and stuff.
What I found quite interesting about both this and Village was they kind of... their initial marketing wasn't just on the fact that it was a franchise game. Like, I watched both of those trailers and was like, oh, this looks pretty cool, and then they revealed that it's actually part of a franchise at the end, and you're like, oh,
Yes.
okay, all right, yeah, this stands on its own without just name baiting. They look like actual games.
Shows a lot of confidence as well when you're not just like, it's the newest entry in the such and such franchise.
Yeah.
When you can show the trailer and then be like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, I get it. Yeah, that's, yeah.
I'm going to go and buy
anyway,
Village.
Anyway, that was it for the games. And then we saw the console for the first time.
Yes, where memes began.
There was, what is that console design? What do you think of the console design, first off? I've been talking for a long time. You can take us through this.
I quite like the digital version. Without the sort of protruding lump at the bottom for the disc drive.
It looks like it's pregnant with a CD, doesn't it?
It does. I think I don't know if that's intentional, whether they've kind of designed it so people will make the switch to digital at some point.
Yeah, it's almost trying to wean people off of physical media by just making the physical console version look worse.
I mean, they definitely started with the digital version, because I think the digital version is quite a nice design. At first I wondered if it would go horizontal, but then I saw some additional pictures after the event, and it does, which is good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, like, you know what, like, design is subjective, but I think you can only go so minimal at a certain point, and like the Xbox Series X is that. It's kind of, it's a black cube, great. No, we've seen a lot of black cubes. Why not do something?
I definitely prefer it to the Xbox, because the Xbox is just too much of almost like an oblong shape compared to because the thing is, as much as there's lots of consoles over the years that have looked quite bad. And it's always a good idea to remind people at times like this that the GameCube had an actual handle on it.
Yes.
But I don't think the PS5 looks too bad. It looks a bit over-designed, but at least it's going to look a bit different.
And you know what? By the time they bring out the black version and the slim version or whatever, like you're not even going to be talking about the design. When it's upright in white, it does look a bit like a Wi-Fi router, as some people have pointed out. But
yes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's tough for me because I'm tempted to. I might actually get, based on what we've seen from the game reveals. Like, this is the first PlayStation in a long time, which is tempting me at launch.
I think it's going to depend on when in 2021 a lot of those games are coming out.
That's true.
Because I think we very briefly messaged about this, I think, on Thursday evening after we watched it. But it's not necessarily having a lot of titles at launch, because a lot of people will only be able to afford to buy one or two games. It's about having that steady flow of titles.
Yeah.
So that once they've played the game they bought at launch, there's something else for them to play straight after. And it's that getting that flow. And I think as long as these titles are all spaced out across 2021, a few of them were 2022, should be pretty good.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah.
Also, it comes with a media remote.
I think that's really useful because I use my PlayStation 4 for everything, like Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus. Like it's all my content is on there. Because I don't have a smart TV, so like that is all my content. And I think a media remote's really useful for someone like me, and that's why I'm really tempted to get this at launch. But again, I'm a bit worried about going for like the digital version or the real version because I love the design of the digital version, but I've still got some Blu-rays knocking around, and you know what, like, yeah, am I going to just rely on digital for all my games? I don't know.
I think, yeah, it's going to depend on the price point as well, because that was not discussed.
No, but at a guess, I think they've rumoured around 400, haven't they?
Yeah, so that may be, I don't know. It really depends on the stuff about backwards compatibility, because then, obviously, for me, there's quite a lot of PS4 games I never played, so I would have plenty to be getting on with, because a lot of PS4 games, I think you can get a lot of them for like a tenner. So I'd be getting like the disc version. I'd just be playing through the back catalogue.
I suppose because I've still got all my PS4 games, so I could carry on playing. I could totally get rid of my PS4 and carry on playing Battlefront and whatnot on the console with the disc version. Yeah, okay. I would have to go for the disc version then, but it's a shame that the design seems like a bit of an afterthought for it.
Yeah, and like I say, not completely convinced that was an accident.
No, I'm sure it was probably, I don't know, maybe a couple of months like into development. They said, actually, can we release this as digital only? Oh no, we've got to do a disc version. Just lump it up a bit at the side and pop a disc drive there.
So yeah, that's the PS5 overall. Reasonably optimistic all round, I think.
It's a very good presentation, and I've never really sort of sat and watched the entirety of these games presentations, but it's very engaging. A lot of interesting titles in there. Yeah, it's good stuff.